Alright. This should be working, but just to make sure, I'm gonna just turn this down a little bit. Alright, welcome to Ben's tutorial on Killing Floor 2. Well, I'm not gonna do points, but the first thing you should probably do, or know about, is the fact that Killing Floor 2 takes up to 3 hours to boot. So, a pro gamer move would be to turn on Killing Floor 2, start up the process, or start the game, then go and make a 5-course meal, eat the meal with your family, and then come back, because that's when the game will finally start to boot. Or at least you'll get the main menu. So, be wary of that. That's got a super long boot time. Even on an SSD for some reason, because the developers Tripwire are really good at making games take forever to start. So that's the first thing you should know about. The second thing you should know about is that over here in the audio settings, all of these by default will be on maxed out, and I think that's probably the best way of having it. What makes this game is the sound effects, the reloads, the shooting, the raw primal carnage of shooting things in the face. And what makes that a good experience is the rock music and the kind of stuff that you'll be hearing in the background. So normally when it comes to a game that I'm going to be playing on Discord or TeamSpeak with people, is I turn down the music and I turn down things like that so I can hear the guys talk better. But in this game, to get the full experience, you're probably going to want to keep those on high and maybe drop the volume to around 60 or 80%, somewhere around that. So you still can't hear them, your friends, when the shit starts hitting the fan, but you still get the experience of the music and things screaming at you. I think that'll give you the best kind of overall experience. If you come over here into gameplay, we've got some cool shit like a FOV slider. You can turn down the gore, but only I was gonna say something rude. Only not cool kids do that. But there's a couple of things here that will help, like show crosshair. That's one of the ones I've got it on. You don't need a crosshair in this game. Every single shot from your gun is 100% accurate. It'll hit center point of your screen. If you're standing still and you take a shot, you don't have to aim down sights. Aim down sights is for babies in this game, or very, very long range shots, and you don't feel like you can pull it off. But if you want to be cool, you can put that on so you have a better idea of where the middle of the screen is. So you can just hip fire them and you can get the kills. For me, I had a big issue with Steam and creating a party, because what would happen is the game wouldn't interface with my Steam, so that was really bad. We'd have to search the servers individually to find a game, and then we would both join that server. But or you know, me and my friends would join that server. But now we would just create party. We can have up to 8 dudes in it. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dudes in it. It should be 8. I'm not sure what's going on here. But you know what? I'm not one. Actually, no, it's 6. My apologies. I am talking shit. Custom servers have custom limitations and stuff like that. But, you know, custom player base and everything. You have like 20 dudes running around. Anyway, I'm talking a bit shit now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and reel it in. You got different classes to choose from. Some of the helpful classes, things like medic, support, are quite straightforward. As a medic, you're going to want to heal your friends. And as a support, you're going to want to shotgun the big guys. So that's quite straightforward. There's things like the commando, which is your basic Call of Duty role, where you get a nice like machine assault rifle or something like that, and you just shoot things. So that's really straightforward. But if you into like really numbing it down, you can play Berserker, where you hit things with a shovel. So that's quite, you know, there's different varieties here, you know. So you can go from being an intricate member of society to being a straight down shovel hitter. So there's lots of opportunities here for you to express yourself. Then what you got over here, you got the gear perk. From here you can choose a variety of characters. You won't have all the characters I have access to, because I've bought some DLC and I have some other stuff. So I've got different things to wear here. But let's just one of the cool things to do is to have everyone in the group synced, so we all pick the same character, maybe pick similar looking hats and stuff like that. You can choose between different styles and stuff that you've got unlocked here, or things that you bought from the marketplace will show up here. But one of the things I found that's quite fun is to have everyone the same character with like different hats and stuff, or different style, just to flex on everyone else in the game, to show them that we're a team, and we're all sucking together instead of just sucking on our own, which is really cool. What you can do is you get weekly challenges and stuff like that. You'll see it down here on this little tab. So every day you'll get new challenges. So here it's earn experience as a support player, use a certain weapon, and complete this map on Suicidal. Suicidal is the difficulty above hard, so I wouldn't recommend it, but if you have the balls and the know-how and a perk that's leveled up to the appropriate degree, you should be able to attempt this. I wouldn't try it in solo though. But yeah, you complete the weeklies, you complete the seasonal, you complete whatever you can, and all that money that you get, the dosh as this game refers to it as, it goes over here to your vault. So as you can see, you've got a large stack of dosh behind me, but for every whatever number this is, I'm not even going to attempt that. Whenever you get that limit, you earn a new stack of dosh, as you can see here in the background. So that's nice, and also you get a little crate. Now, these little crates hold really trash unlocks in them. But, if you eventually get enough, you're bound to get something nice. It's like a loot box. But it's free. Throughout the game, you can get other things, like you can get shitty loot boxes that you have to pay for. But the nice thing about it is you can craft them down. So if I get a shitty loot box, like let's just say this was a loot box here, I could then recycle it, and I collect the shitty loot boxes and the resources they give me, and eventually, if I get to 10 or something, I can then craft something like here. I can get 10 of these. I can craft a different weapon skin, or an exceptional weapon skin. So there's a very grindy upgrade path if you want to head that route. I wouldn't recommend it, because I feel that you're better off just completing the challenges, getting the loot box, and hoping like hell whatever comes out of that is something cool and stylish. But also, just pumping about £4 into this, and you go on to the marketplace, a lot of the stuff you can get from crates are all 3p. I think a majority of the stuff you're seeing here now on screen cost me 3 to 4p each. So I just picked a whole bunch of shit that I think would look cool, and then I went and I put it on my characters to see what who would look cool, and what kind of style I can give them. That's not necessary though to play the game. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just create my own match. So you've got different maps and everything like that. You got custom maps as well. I've never managed to get custom maps working, so that sucks dick. But if you can, that's great, and that's gonna open up a large variety to what's going on with the gameplay. There's also the weekly challenges is done for this one. You get versus survival, which I've never played, where the other players can join and play as the Z. They're not called zombies in this game. This is a very important point. They're not called zombies. They're called Z. So don't you fucking call them zombies, alright? Otherwise, you'll be breaking the game's immersion. There's objective, which is quite cool. It's kind of storyline. So you do X, Y, and Z, and then something will happen, and maybe there will be progress done. Different parts of the map can unlock, that kind of stuff. Endless is very efficient if you just want to farm experience. But we're just gonna do survival because it's a standard kind of thing. You have to survive. It's pretty similar, pretty straightforward. I'm going to put on normal difficulty. You get normal, hard, suicidal, and hell on earth. I've never attempted hell on earth before because I'm not cool enough. Suicidal is my max. Hard is relatively hard, and normal is you don't get baby mode. So this is probably the best you're going to get. So we'll just do that. It even tells you here the recommendations. So like this one here requires level 25, and they're really talking about some crazy shit here. Whereas the survival here recommended for ranks 15 to 25. And normal is recommended to ranks 0 to 5. I have seen people join Suicidal and Hell on Earth games with a level 0 perk. My Demolitionist at the moment is level 0. And with each level you get incremental increases. And then at each milestone here you get different perks you can choose. So some of the perks here, like the level 25 ones, are needed and the experience you gain throughout progression is needed to survive in the higher level, like Hell on Earth and survival difficulties. But because we're going to be doing a little normal game, and we're going to do a short one here, we don't really need to worry about that at the moment, so let's just launch this one. Sometimes the loading screen also takes a sweet time, so just get used to waiting a long time. Have your phone nearby so you can look at cat pictures if you want. Keeping it real, cat pictures. A feature I just want to talk about that I think is really sexy, but you got to have an NVIDIA graphics card to pull it off, is over here you have the option for NVIDIA Flex, which you can turn on and off. If you have the opportunity to do it, I think it's worth it. And gibs themselves alone animate the gibs of the dead people, or the Z, as you're destroying them. So it does make it very exciting, especially if someone is like a demolitionist. Just shooting them and seeing the little body giblets everywhere is what this game is all about, really. But unfortunately, it's only available to NVIDIA users.
The
Now
Zeds
you-
are close. Safety's off.
Bloody tunnel king.
All right. So you can see, as the commander class, you have access to see the individual Zed's health bars. So you can see he's close to death. You just shoot him a couple more times and he'll die. So you know not to be scared of a guy who has less than half, that you can just shoot at. You get grenades, you get a little medikit, which by default is Q. So you can see at the bottom left there, I've got 90 health at the moment. Oh, it's going down. I don't know why. Okay, so
Get me with the trigger finger.
oh my god, this is not a very good informational thing. Anyway, so you've got 85 HP, and what you want to do is, if you want to
Reloading.
get your health back, there's a little syringe next to your health, and you can hold Q. You inject yourself with heroin, and you can see that goes up. But there's obviously a delay when it comes to getting your health back. So I'm holding Q now. It says health is full, but even if it wasn't, it would say that you can't use it
Donny the bloody sheep.
until that's full again. Which now, it's just sitting health full. Anyway, we've got the experience bar over there as well, and your armor level, so you can have different armor. On the right, you can see how many bullets you've got, how much dosh you've got. Now, dosh is very important if you hold tab. You can see dosh is only gotten through kills, assists, and doing your role. So if you're a medic and you heal someone, you'll get like a couple quid. But what you really want is the kills. The kills is what earns you the money. And to earn money is the main point of the game. So you use the money to buy different guns or upgrade the guns that you've got. So overall, you want to just be shooting everything that moves, getting as much money as you can.
Reloading.
Alright,
Boom. Come see me. The pod's safely open.
so between each
Nicely
wave,
done.
you'll have access to this little arrow that'll tell us where the nearest pod is. But also, if you check the top of your inventory above the timer, you'll see it says trader, and it's pointing to the direction of the trader. Tells me how far it is in meters, and it'll tell you if it's underneath you or above you. Like, yeah, it's below us, so we know we go down. Or you can just follow the arrow. You know what? Sometimes the arrow is very useful. Other times, before the arrow turns up, you can get close to the pod. Make sure you're not going to miss out on your valuable buy time. So this is a bit confusing at first. These are the different perks you can select. And we could play in Commando, so it's instantly highlighted the Commando for us. And these are all the weapons that you can afford and use as the Commando class.
We're almost out of time.
There's different weights,
Make your choices.
and there's also different prices. So I can afford a Tommy gun, so I'll buy that. Here's a Tommy gun in my inventory. It has half ammo at the moment, or less than half. I can't actually tell, I'm not good at maths. So I'll fill that up. So now I've got full ammo on my Tommy gun, and I've got 172 left, so I'm just going to buy as much armor as I can,
Last
half
chance.
armor.
I have to power down the pod.
Alright, here we go. So I've got access to my default gun, my Tommy gun, my pistol, my little knife, and then my medical syringe and my welder. Welder you can use for closing doors and stuff like that. By default, it won't show up on your hotbar. That's in the settings, you got to try and configure that. But I think it's useful to
Dented down numbers, but there are plenty left.
be able to see that before you get to the door. So let's say I was going to weld this door over here. I could swap to welder, run, close it with E, and then weld it up with left click. and that will then keep them off me for a little bit. So I can kind of, I know that I'm safe from one direction at the moment, and I have that security. Oh, I said thank you.
We can reopen the trader pod soon.
61%, you can tell how far the door's got before it's going to get destroyed. And you can always swap over to it and top it up. There's only 2 guys left in this wave, so you can tell it says wave over there, 2 out of 4, 2 guys left. So what we'll do is we'll unweld this door. Oh, they're leaving. They must have got... They don't normally leave, just for your information. They normally just keep bashing the door until the door explodes. But we'll chase them down. This is the sights. So it's kind of useful, but you don't need them. Like, you can always be accurate. Every single first bullet you shoot is going to be accurate. And then from there it's recoil, so... You can just turn, shoot a dude in the head and keep going. You don't have to aim down sights. I'm going to buy myself some more grenades because they're fun. And as you can tell, if I've got my mouse over the Tommy gun, it gives me the stats of the Tommy gun. And if I upgrade it, it's going to give me a little sliver of increased damage. And it's only going to cost me $600. And it's going to increase the weight by 1. My weight is currently 6 out of 15, so I'll upgrade it. So it'll be 7 out of 15 now. But now it's also it's tier 1 or... yeah, we can just say tier 1. You saw that it increased the damage a little bit. And that's the only kind of difference when it comes to upgrading. Mainly upgrading I would consider to be borderline useless and a money sink. But if you really like a tier 1 gun, you're probably going to need to upgrade it to make it last for the later waves. So the game kind of expects you to use your money to buy more expensive guns, and the more expensive then do more damage and stuff like that, so that you can survive and easily kill the Zeds later on in the game.
More Zeds on the scope. Back to it.
I just ran in a loop like a retard, my apologies. Following arrows becomes a natural thing. So here's a little bit of a loot crate that you can pick up. It'll give you 1 grenade and ammo for every single weapon that you've got in your inventory. So that's nice.
Now finish the job. Allez.
The cool part about this game, I was gonna say, is the slow motion and the gore effects and stuff like that. But unfortunately, if you're gonna be playing the game correctly, you're gonna be going for headshots, so you're not gonna see a lot of the animations. But like, you shoot a guy in the leg, he'll stumble. You know, you can do different things. You shoot off his arm, he'll have a different animation for death, like, you know, with each body part. Very nice kind of system in place for death, because that's pretty much what this entire game is about. It's all about bringing death to these poor little Zeds. In fact, the game's name is Killing Floor, so if you're not thinking about killing things in it, I don't think you've expected the right kind of result from this game.
I'm welding this door. It's closed.
So you can probably hear that scream behind me. That is a Fleshbound. He is slightly bigger than the average guys, and he requires a little bit more tactics to deal with. Oh god. Oh, there's shift is sprint, by the way, in case you didn't realize. Fuck me. We are playing on normal difficulty, so in a normal game, if you see one of those guys, it's best to avoid him unless you're grouped up with the team. In which case everyone will collectively shoot him in the face, and you'll hopefully kill him before he can kill too many of your friends. The commando, upon having access to all the machine guns and stuff in the game, also has the flashlight with F. All the classes have access to the flashlight, but if you hold F down, you get super sexy night vision. Now, that's not really useful, however it does make things look cool. Now, this is the bloat that I'm going to shoot now. His job is to throw up on you, which then blinds your vision and makes it harder to see where you're going. Then you get disorganized and you end up running into a wall, and all the other Zed are going to be slapping you, so it's not a good experience. But that guy over there, he's a Scrake. He has a chainsaw on his arm. And what happens is, if you keep line of sight with the Scrake, he will then get very angry with you, so it's best off to keep breaking his vision. If he gets enraged, which he gets from either you shooting at him or you keep hanging out in his vision long enough, he eventually gets really upset with you, and what he'll do is he'll start... There you go. He'll start running. He's not going to give up on you now. he's out for your blood basically. So what we'll do is we'll lay some of those down,
Perfect.
and there you go. So this is the Gibbs feature kicking in. That wouldn't have, he would have died in a different way without the Gibbs feature turned on from the Nvidia Flex. And I just really enjoy, it spices it up for me. I tried the blood one, it's a little bit too much for me. Like, you shoot a guy's head and blood gushes out in all weird ways. Also, like, my little computer can't handle that shit, so we're gonna keep a PG here by only having the Gibbs on. The blood never goes away, by the way, so at the end of the game you can end up with quite a nice little variety of slushes and slashes. I'm gonna sell this, and what I'm gonna do now is, you can see the different tiers here. It's all done through price. So that's 1,500. So you know these are gonna be quite hardcore. This one's $2,000. So you know I'm gonna go for one of these ones over here. The Stoner is a heavy machine gun. Where's the AK? AK is tier 2, 1,100. But you can see the differences in damage and stuff.
Hurry up. Zeds are getting closer.
I'm just gonna go with the AK. I like how the AK looks. That's why I'm gonna be using it. What you can do is you can also press escape, and you can change skills just from here by clicking on whatever skill you want. And the next time you make it to the trader, it will instantly swap that skill for you. So if your team needs a medic, if you've got like only got like a whole bunch of commandos, but no one's playing medic or no one's playing support to help take out the big guys. All the different roles have different things that they're good at. Like the support, his job is to use a shotgun to shoot the big guys, like the Scrake and the Flesh Pound with the things on his arms. The commando, his job is to kill all the little creatures, so that they don't overwhelm the team. I am gonna brag about the fact that the game animators animated all the reloads at I believe it was 300 FPS, or unless your PC fucking lags. So 300 FPS. Oh shit. Okay, we might have a problem here. A very big problem. What I've done is I've got myself cornered between a rock and a hard place. But thank God we're playing on normal difficulty. Slow motion time is probably the best time to get headshots. If you want to be an MLG gamer and be conservative with the ammo.
Incoming Zeds, folks. Just picking them off. Keep it going.
So his head's gone, you don't have to shoot him anymore, he'll die eventually.
Spend freely. Things are about to get serious.
The issue is if you shoot him not in the head, right, if you shoot the bloats
Get yourself fixed up.
in the stomach or whatever, they'll eventually explode because they take too much damage, which they can then shower the entire room in acid or bile or whatever you want to think it is. I'm going to swap over here to sharpshooter because we're going to be fighting the boss now. So I've just clicked change perk, sharpshooter, buy myself some ammo, and have enough to buy the biggest gun in the game, so I'm going to go for it. Now, I don't think I might be winning this fight, but I am going to be trying my damnedest. So I bought different guns here. I've got a skin on this gun, which you can equip through the inventory menu. As I said, all the gun reloads should be smooth because they're all animated at super high frame rates to make sure you get like the best experience. If you spam R, you'll see like these idle animations here, so you can really sit there and cream over your gun and how much money you spent on it. All guns have this animation, by the way.
I have to power down the pod.
If you have a melee weapon and you press R, you clean it. So if there's blood on it, you press R and you'll like shake it and get the blood off it. You know what? It's not really realistic. You can't shake a thing once and get blood off it, but it's the thought that counts.
By my calculations, this doesn't look very good for
Okay, so this is the boss. You can see the name of the boss. It gives you a bit of hints on how to defeat it. Now, actually, this is a new boss, and I have no idea how I plan to deal with this efficiently. So you might just see me die really slowly. Oh, if I got her in the head, that would have been impressive. So you can see at the top of the top of my screen, you can see a health bar for not just the guy's health, the matriarch's health, but also her, I think it's her armor. So her head's gone. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, you can't crouch to avoid that. That was a miss. That was a hit. You can tell the damage difference there. So I chose this rifle because of the amount of damage it does. It's she's using a variety of attacks to try and eat me. So I'm glad that I haven't fallen for any of them yet. Watch this. I can try and weld this, but a boss can go straight through that shit. So it's not worth. It can save you a couple seconds. Oh fuck me. A couple of seconds, but it's probably not going to save you the world. Okay, she went invisible. That's some different bosses have different abilities. Oh fuck me. This might be over for me.
Oh, good stuff, that.
You could call this occupational noise exposure.
Still see it. Just.
I think I might actually get this. Yeah, no worries. I'm glad that normal difficulty is a thing. Look, there I am in the background. You can throw money by pressing B to express how how rich you are. You can brag about it. And if you hold Z and go down, you can emote. This is a custom emote, so don't get too excited about your emote looking this good. You know what I'm saying? I paid money for this shit. But that's it. That is just a normal match of Killing Floor. It's quite a simple game. Playing with your friends, there's different strategies and stuff you can get. If I scroll back up, we like to brag about who gets the most achievements in this. And most of the time, it's the guy who's really just wrecking shit up. You know, he'll have the most kills, and therefore he'll have the most damage, and he'll have the most giant Zed slain, and so far and so forth. It's a nice game, and the Dominator is whoever gets the last hit on the boss. So if you just wait for that last sliver of health and then take the shot, you'll have the little Dominator. So that's something to fight over. But yeah, this is Killing Floor. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Well, you haven't played it yet, but I hope that you've enjoyed listening to my shit. And I will now try and end this recording. There you go. There you go.